we could just listen to the volume. Yeah, on,
Like me?
on YouTube.
Am I gonna be in it or?
There's the picture right there.
Yeah, no, don't have to be in it.
If you sit right over there,
Okay.
you won't be in it.
I don't mean to be like.
No problem.
I
You don't have to be.
prefer not to be.
No problem.
Some people will want to watch it live, that's why we're doing it, so that people don't have to come to the office. It doesn't work for them. Here, let me get this one going. I saved so much paper
That is so
by being able to write.
I love
Because you know how you're constantly having to write little notes and
Yeah.
things like that?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hello, come on in.
Testing 1, 2, 3. How are you? Go on in.
Hi.
We're just doing a little housework here. I've been running since we left that meeting this morning.
About 10 minutes.
Has this been done? Oh, yes, that's been done. I'm putting your phone over here too.
Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. I need to see if the volume is on. Testing 1, 2, 3. I see that we're there. Testing 1, 2, 3.
No.
On YouTube.
Am I gonna be in
Picture right there. If you sit right over there, you won't be in it. You're not in it now.
Is that gonna be part of it? Some people will like.
That's live right now. That's on the internet. All right. So while you're waiting, why don't you write down anything or tell us to write down anything on the whiteboard that you want us to talk about today? Anything you're asking questions about? So, Dawn, if you would just get from them anything they're asking questions about.
You know how you're constantly having to write little notes?
During the training you're talking
Yeah,
about?
anything that needs to go on the whiteboard for us to talk about, if you can get from them.
You want that, the data, also you're using that, right?
Right, but they want it in a key.
Sure.
Okay. So actually, we have feedback now because I'm playing it. It's going back through the mic.
Oh, yes, that's been done.
Okay. So this is how we can let people watch this who are not here.
Yeah.
Right. So anyone that is watching already on this broadcast, you should send an email to Dawn, D-A-W-N, at story-collaborative.com. If you have a particular question that you want to ask, you should send that to that email so that she can retrieve that and we'll put it on the whiteboard for discussion today. I think the rain's going for a while. Yeah.
I hope too. Oh, okay. So when you set, well, he's gonna go over how to set these up. I think it's because either you're not set up on one or you weren't logged into it on your computer. When you set them up on Lamppost, you need to be logged in on your computer.
Oh, okay.
At the time, but you don't have to do that every time, just when you set it up.
Okay.
So that's probably why it probably couldn't find you.
Okay.
So, but
And then I was wondering if I could use more than my, it took like just, I don't know what contact list it took, that it was not like a good one.
you shouldn't take the contact list. There is a place to put
Well,
contacts.
You have to separate between what Lamppost asks for and what the social media network asks for. So like Google or who, they'll get whatever they can get from you on the social media networks. we're not asking for any of that. So on our system, you could upload a contact list, but we would never prompt you for it.
Okay.
So if that's happening, it means it's coming from one of the social networks. It's asking you to do that.
We are live.
Okay, good. So anything else? So anything you're having challenges with, we're going to do setup for you. And then tell me your name one more time.
I'm Diane.
Diane and
Kelly.
Kelly. Okay, I'm Dave. Great. Well, it's a little odd to do these live, but it's the only way we can share this with people. And we're going to give people another 5 minutes or so to join us. If you are watching this broadcast and you want to send a question in for discussion today about Perfect the Pitch or about how to use lampposts for that or digital storytelling, then please email Dawn, D-A-W-N, at story-collaborative.com, and she will write that on the whiteboard and we will talk about it today.
Were your slides from the other day available yet?
No, we just haven't put them up. But we'll do that. So you guys at Powerhouse, you have 2 social networks. You have Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
Now, are you thinking about doing another one? Or
Google Plus.
okay,
Something that people want to use it because you get higher rankings in Google.
correct. So it's an SEO tool, and so yeah, we normally put everything in Google Plus that we put in Facebook and Twitter. And I'll show you how to set that up in here so it's faster for you. I'll show you a couple different ways to set it up. And if you're watching the broadcast today and you have questions that you want to ask about Perfect the Pitch or about Lamppost or about how to do digital storytelling, then email those to Dawn, D-A-W-N, at story-collaborative.com, and we'll get them on the whiteboard for discussion today. I think it's getting kind of warm in here. Do you think it is? Anybody else or just me?
I'm comfortable, but I always have the heater on right next to me.
Oh, is that right? So you like it warm. You like it warm. So what happens with this broadcast is it goes out live over YouTube, and it goes out live on Google Plus, and then when it's done, we can save it and we can trim off the beginning. All of this stuff we're doing right now, we'll just cut that off and make it into a little bit better of a video. So
That's good because it's showing me cleaning the room.
that's right. Well, when people are first starting to join a live stream, they want to know that someone's there and that something's happening. So you don't want to have just a blank screen. And so typically, if you have a movie going, a meeting or something, you would have that meeting. People would be milling around and getting seated. So that's what this is: milling around and getting seated. And tell me what organization you're with again.
The YMCA.
Okay.
We compete with each
That's great. So is there only one Y in the area, or
It's one association, but we have 4 branches.
okay? And where are they located?
King George, Stafford, Spotsylvania, and Caroline County.
So what is Stafford? Is that the one right along the river?
Yes, on Butler Road.
On Butler, okay.
Yes.
That's what's Stafford.
Mhm.
And there's not one in the Fredericksburg city limits then?
No,
Okay.
not
Not yet.
not yet. I don't foresee it put one in
Oh,
the,
you don't need to. You've got to
You didn't break it.
yeah, we were supposed to have it in North Stafford, but new supervisors came in.
Oh,
They promised the citizens a YMCA, but they changed it
oh.
to a for-profit organization. So I hope this isn't.
Well, my son-in-law and daughter live. They're members and they live just off of Butler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they go there and work out a lot.
I think one of the things I sent out was on this trying, it was our video that we just did, but it's too long for this.
Mhm.
But it's really cute. I mean, it's like healthy living and it's darling. Yeah, they did it as a surprise for me. We had our annual campaign kickoff the other night, and the entire Y got together behind my back and made this video.
Aw, that's so sweet. Wow.
So we're going to talk today about setting up, how to set this up in the most effective way so that you can manage things. We're going to go through a couple of the different setups. And then we'll talk about adding new accounts. In particular, we'll talk about Facebook because it's one of the most complex. And then we'll talk about some ways to post and add pictures. And we'll show you also how to manage multiple accounts at the same time. So do you have any digital storytelling questions for the campaign or anything related to Perfect the Pitch that you're wondering about?
Everything.
Okay. So why don't you write down on there that we'll just talk about what does a campaign look like and how would you develop a campaign, and then
Because I had a question, if for the campaign, does it have to be one or the other, like video or a collection of images?
so it could be both, right?
It could be a mixture.
It could be a mixture of email, video, social. The idea is to make an effective campaign, right? So the key though is that they're not about different things.
Yeah.
And that they have some kind of unified visual theme attached to them. So let's look. I want to show you how to set up.
I'm like 1 minute.
Okay, I'll wait 1 minute. I'll wait 1 minute.
Never know.
If you're watching the video today and you want to ask questions about Perfect the Pitch, about visual storytelling, or about Lamppost, please email Dawn, D-A-W-N, at story-collaborative.com, and then we'll get your questions on the whiteboard and talk about them. And we'll give folks just 1 minute because we have to start on time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great meeting this morning. We did a training with the Main Street downtown, and it was a good social media training, but it started right in the middle of a rainstorm. So, okay, so we're going to get started. So let's start by talking about how to set up your accounts. And I'm going to share my screen. And Don, you should see my screen come up here in a minute. So I'll make sure that's what's happening. Yep. And so just tell me when you see that come up. So, so as we think about how to effectively set this up, you know, one of the keys to this, and by the way, the video is off now, so if you want to comb your hair, you can. One of the keys to doing this effectively is making sure.
I see the screen, but it doesn't look like.
That's okay, it's a different screen.
I've got it. Yes, I've got it.
Make sure that you're labeling everything appropriately, because a lot of us have more than one Facebook or more than one Twitter. So make sure, come on in.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Sorry about
No problem. So sit anywhere. We're live on YouTube.
Okay.
And we're talking about how to set up Lamppost effectively. Tell me your name again.
Kathy Anderson.
Kathy. This is Dawn. Dave. Anything you want to add to our question list today, we can jot on the whiteboard there. So the camera is not on right now, but the mic is. So so as you set this up, one of the keys is that you, as you look at services, that you label them appropriately so that when you have more than one Facebook or more than one Twitter, you've got a name on the front of that so you can pay attention. It's really common for people to have multiples of these to manage different campaigns. Some people do them for different locations. Some of them do it for different parts of their activity. So regardless of that, as you set these up, what you want to do is as you go to the Facebook ad screen, the two that you want to pick are the one that says Facebook fan page, which is right at the top. And so in this list of Facebook additions, there's not only these public pages that are for, for brands and for companies, which are called fan pages, but there are also personal Facebook pages. So you could also put personal ones in here if you wanted to. If you had a volunteer that wanted to do some of this through their personal Facebook account, not a bad idea because it does have a good reach on the community in terms of getting out to people. And then the second one you want to do is on the bottom. It's the second to the bottom, and it's called Facebook Page Stream. So for each Facebook account, you want both of these services set up. And that allows you to post to Facebook and also to watch the stream and respond to it. Okay, does that make sense? Yes.
If you have it already set up, can you change the name of it?
You can change the name of it, yes. You can. You can edit that.
So if we were gonna have volunteers, put it on there, or which one would we select?
So if it was for a volunteer and they were to use a personal account, now, I mean, the obvious landmines with any personal account is that there could be all kinds of stuff. You know, there could be political, religious, family, humor of all types, right? So obviously you want to be very careful with a volunteer using a personal account. The problem we have is that Facebook has reduced all of our business and nonprofit postings to 1 or 2% reach. So one of the only ways to get it out there is to have volunteers do it. So if you have a trusted volunteer, what you would do is you would go to where it says Facebook page. Let me find it here. Ones that say, so Facebook post, that goes to your own Facebook wall. And then any of the other ones that say photo album, your personal Facebook photo album. If it says fan page, it's going to relate to the business page. But if it says your personal, then you can use that for a personal account. And so once you get these set up, does that answer your question about which ones to do? Okay. So when you get these set up, you can check them and see what you've got just by clicking on this button that says services over here. And this lists all the services that you have. As you can see in this particular one, we have a lot of things set up. And you can check them, you can edit them, you can change the name of them. I'm not sure if you can see these if I do the pop-ups on them. Chromecast doesn't let us do that. You can't see that, can you? No. So you can edit them there, and you can check and see what you have. And you know, it gets really super confusing if you don't have them labeled properly. So that's important. And you can have multiples on all of these services, with the exception of Instagram. Hey, how are you, Karen? Good to see you. Grab a seat anywhere. We're live on YouTube, but the camera's not on right now, just the microphone. So you can check and see which services you have available to you, and you can do multiples of all of them. You can't do multiples of Instagram. So let me just show you. Instagram has some pretty strict rules that they make us live by. And because of that, what we can do on Instagram is we can monitor and respond to Instagram. What we can't do is we cannot post from Lamppost to Instagram. And Instagram is essentially a photo, it's a phone app, is what it really is. If you look at the Instagram website, you'll see it's almost nothing there. It's basically just even mobile size on the website. So the best practice for Instagram really is to use your phone for that. That's the kind of pictures people want to see. They want to see super authentic, kind of casual, interesting pictures. But all the rest of these, you can put multiples up. You can also connect it to WordPress. If you have a WordPress site, you can write the blogs from here and send them as well. So if you're setting these up, one thing that I was emphasizing, Karen, is if you have multiple Facebook pages or multiple organizations that you're managing through this, make sure you label things at the beginning of the description so you know who it is. Okay. Then, so one of the challenges then is once you get this set, let me just pause for questions. Do you have any questions on email, Don?
No.
Okay. So any questions?
Maybe,
So,
you were behind, you know what I mean?
that's true. So any questions so far? So you have Facebook and Twitter. What kind of accounts do you have? You guys are together?
Yep.
Okay. And what do you guys have?
Facebook, Twitter.
Okay. And
Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Google Plus.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about those other accounts just for a minute. We started this conversation earlier, but Google Plus is important because of search engines. So it's, our practice is that we put everything on Google Plus that we put on Twitter and that we put on everything else. So if it goes on our social, it goes on Google Plus. Now here's the way that we do that. Under the Manage screen, there is a list function. And I can add a new list. I can call it whatever I want. So what I want to do is I want to create a list. So for me, I want to be able to do a number of things easily, right? I want to be able to do Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus all at one time. Sometimes. But I also want to be able to do Twitter and Google Plus, Facebook and Google Plus, because I do different things on Facebook than I do on Twitter. So I create a list for each one of those. So that list might be, this might be my, let's call this Empower House Twitter. And when I'm going to give it a color so that I can keep track of it. And so I'll pick a color, golden, and I create the list. And then what that allows me to do is I can add whatever services I want to that list. So that when I go to publish, all I have to do is find the list. And they automatically go to that. Does that make sense? So now when I'm publishing, I can look over here on the right-hand side. I can grab it up here in the right side box. That list is in here somewhere. There it is. There's my list. Or if I'm looking at the Engage tab, that list is going to be down here somewhere. My list. It's in my list, so it's going to be right down here. All those places are places that I can get. Does that make some sense? Okay. So and so Google Plus then creates this great repository, but you don't want to have to create separate posts for it because the monthly engagement on Google Plus is 7 minutes. People only spend average of 7 minutes a month. And that's like just trying to load your stuff on that day. So no one's actually talking to each other today. Except we're on it today. So, and so let's talk about Pinterest. What's the value of Pinterest? Okay. And so who might you find on Pinterest? Okay. And their interests are social, fashion, recipe, weddings. Could be anything with decor. It could be anything that has a strong visual element. All right. So how so you're using Pinterest. What would you put on Pinterest from the YMCA?
Probably things related to health or kids.
Okay. So, I mean, an example would be you can put healthy recipes on there. That ties in with your fitness, focus, right? What would you, if you guys were using Pinterest, what would you put on there?
I would probably put links to articles on domestic violence.
Okay. So generally, just imagine the interaction. The person's browsing through, they've got flowers, and they've got really nice living rooms, and here's some paintings, and here's some dresses, and now they've got domestic violence. What do you think?
Yeah, we're not feeling Pinterest.
We're not feeling it, right?
Inspirational quotes.
Okay, inspiration's good. So that's good. What about success stories of people that who have a new life, a new job, a new house, a new wardrobe, a fashion show, learning how to cook, right? easy ways to cook in the crock pot, there's a lot of positive stuff. Exciting things happening at work, anything like that. So I remember we had a program in California where we would give away cars to women that had been working with us for a while. And so, like, one of the most fun things we ever did was give these keys to these ladies.
Yeah, really.
And they paid, $100 or something for the car over 6 months, just so that they had to invest in it. But when they got the keys to their car, that's a Pinterest moment. So I think there's things you could do there that would make sense. For recovery in motion, some of the obvious stuff would be some of the exercise kind of things if you have an exercise person who's teaching.
Yeah, and let's ask something I think we go with you guys too. Because for a young thing, our inclination would be opposing, right? Not opposed, but then there's a question of that integrity. It's one thing to be posing something to illustrate something, it's another thing to post people who are actors and say they aren't members of our organization.
Right.
Am I playing games with my
Actually, I think what I would do in that area, so the question is, if we don't want to breach confidentiality with people, how do we show pictures of people who are not our clients? So in your case, you guys have you have motion related things. I think you have some yoga stuff. So you could easily do a photo shoot with people doing that who are not your clients, as long as what you're sharing has a value, right? So you're teaching people some exercises. You're showing some I don't know what you guys do, so I'm making this up, right? Pilates methods. That has value for the user watching it on Pinterest or somewhere online, but it doesn't matter if it's your client. But what you're doing, though, is you're introducing them to what's happening and why that's valuable. So I think it definitely could be done. And I imagine you guys do anything with nutrition?
talk about it? We haven't
Okay,
done it yet.
so you could do recipes, and pictures of food are famous. So Pinterest is probably one of the most underutilized fundraising tools out there right now. And it really has there's a lot of opportunities here because it's a strong group of potential donors, and the profile of Pinterest users lines up with most charities' core donor targets. So let me show you some other stuff here. So the idea would be if we had multiple lists going, that I could go to my compose box and I could grab any one of those lists that I want, so that I can do this very, very quickly. And I'm doing all social media. I'm doing my Twitter plus Google plus. I'm doing my Facebook plus Google plus. And that's much faster than if I were to do it otherwise. So the other publishing thing you need to be aware of is this little button right here called RSS Content and Trends. So this button has in it content that you can use for sharing. About 40% of what you share should not be unique or original. It should be borrowed, and the fancy word for that is curated. So it should be curated. And that means you got it from somewhere else, you made a comment on it, and you shared it. It has to fit your target audience, has to be valuable to them, has to be on brand for you. But there's a lot of things that you can share. And so when you click this button, it brings up the content box. And this is where you find things that you want to share. So what we do is we go and find, obviously this is our account, so it's about storytelling, and the one that's online is actually someone who does movie reviews. What we do is we go find a website or a blog that we really appreciate, that we think has value for the people that we're working with or the donors we're reaching out to. And we then, we find the RSS link on their website, and we bring that RSS into a feed, which then shows up right here. Okay, and RSS is set up over here under Monitor feeds. And I can add a new feed, and I give that feed a name, and I simply paste in the URL for that RSS. And so RSS stands for
Thank you.
Real Simple Syndication. It's a simple sharing tool, and it is a little. Let me find the RSS symbol for you. So what's a blog that you guys that you like to read? We'll go look at it. Can you think of one or a news source that is helpful to you? Can you think of anything? So I'm just gonna do a search then. Who knows what will come up here?
When you say like blog, does that mean website or just something different?
So a blog, blog stands for web log. It's essentially articles that are placed online, and a blog is just web writing, right? And it typically has a date attached to it. So I just went and searched for 55 top addiction recovery blogs, 2014. Let me see this here. And you can't see this if you're watching online because we're not doing it there. We're doing it here in the office. But you can go search for anything you want. And what you're looking for, so here's a list of blogs. Oh, sorry, it's not showing. There we go. So here's a bunch of blogs in 2014. And this is actually a blog about blogs. So here's intervene, drugfree.org. And usually a blogger will put an RSS button. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom of this page, if I can find it. They'll put an RSS button on the bottom of their web page. And she doesn't have one. Okay, so you have to fish around for them sometimes. But they are essentially a live feed of everything that's on that website.
So there are places we can go to search for blogs on certain topics.
Yep. So just put into Google the topic you want to, just put blogs. So this is the Parents of an Addict blog spot. And I have no idea if this is any good or not. I'm looking for one that has an RSS feed. The other thing you can do is you can just type in RSS feeds on your topic. So I'll do that. So what comes up here? Okay, so here's smart recovery.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. And it advertises it had an RSS feed, so let's see if we can find it. There it is. Okay, so here's their RSS feed right here. This little button over here on the right, the orange button.
Where it says
Smart Recovery Blog Updates. So if I click that, it's going to give me this really terrible looking screen. Okay, that's the RSS feed in its raw form. If I just copy that link up there, and I go back to my lamp post.
I'm sorry, which
They
link?
couldn't see
link
where
I'm sorry.
the
Can you
RSS
go
feed
pointers?
was.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't show you. It's above this screen. It's actually the URL in the URL bar.
But they couldn't see where the RSS feeds were
Oh, I'm
on
sorry.
the screen.
Okay,
And I
Was
guess
that where the orange icon was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's these little guys right here.
On the right side in the
To
middle.
the right.
That's RSS feed.
Does it have 2 S's in it or something?
Well, no, it's just a little orange radio symbol.
It's a radio symbol.
Yeah,
Oh, now I
just a little
see it.
that's all it is. And so whenever you see that anywhere on the web, that's an RSS feed. And you can grab that and then you put that into your lamp post, and you simply would paste it right in where it says feed URL, give it a name, and hit save. Now it's going to take it about an hour for the software to grab it. And then once it's grabbed it, whenever you go to your compose box and click on the content button, that RSS is going to be in here. And all I have to do is read those. If I click on the title of them, it will allow me to see the actual web page. So I can go read it if I want by clicking on it, or if I click on the share button, it will put that into my post automatically. Puts the picture in and all that. Now, so I just found something valuable. Maybe this is not a good story, but I just grabbed one. I found something valuable to share with people that are in our group, because you don't want to have to write everything personally. So I don't want to send that out without customizing it. And you could say, hey, this is a great article, thought you might enjoy it, or important news about recovery, whatever it is you want to write. And now I didn't have to write that, but what I've done is I've become the source for valuable information for the people that I'm writing. So this allows you to do this. So you can imagine if you were doing this and you had several RSS feeds set up in here, you could actually write content very, very quickly. And so a week's content using curation, it's not every post, but it's maybe 40% of your posts you just got from sharing valuable information. So it's very fast that way. Does that make sense? So sometimes people have a little challenge managing the RSS feed itself. And so what we did is inside of Lamppost, under Quick Tips, there is a tab that will give you information about how to do that. And it's this tab right here that says RSS feeds. And so you can follow the instructions, and there's online web services that will clean those up for you. If you throw the URL in, push the button, it gives you a cleaned up link. So if it doesn't work for you, put it into that cleanup engine, and it will clean it up for you. You can put it into your content that way.
What do you mean by cleaning up? Is it
Well,
gaps and?
Well, every RSS feed is not formatted properly, and sometimes the address is not, because there's standards for RSS and everyone doesn't follow them, or their website outputs something strange. So that if it can be fixed, the engine that's inside here will fix it for you, and you can use it.
Under that green button.
Yeah, where it says RSS feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's instructions in that page about how to do it right here, and there's several links that you can use for doing that. Okay, and that's what you do if it doesn't work quite right. Okay. The other thing you can do is when you're looking at a website, you can just, at the end of the web address, you can put /feed and then hit return and see what comes up. And if a page comes up that looks like a list of articles, then you found the feed. And everyone doesn't advertise them with the little RSS button, okay? So if you're stuck on these, just email us the page you're trying to get, and we can help you with that. The other thing I want to show you as well, in the same kind of idea, if you're looking for 40% of your content to be something that you don't have to write, then it helps to have other things. And so if I go over to Engage, the top left button, and down here on the left it says Suggested, that's going to bring up content that is suggested for the kind of things I post about. Now, what the computer does is, as you are posting over a period of a month or so, it learns what you're interested in, and it suggests content for you that it finds on the internet. Okay? So it's a service that we put in here for you to use. So, and they may or may not be valuable. You may not like them, but it is available to you. So does that make sense in terms of kind of organizing this, how you could do this more quickly? The other thing I want to show you, just to make sure that you were clear on, in terms of, what's a campaign? What does a campaign look like? And it's Kelly, right? You were saying, does it have to be just one thing, or can a campaign be multiple things, right? So if you know, if we know the marketing principle is you got to touch people 8 times with the same brand message before they make a decision, you want to have a campaign that touches them in different ways. So you could add email, you could add video, you could add social, you could put a postcard in there if you want to be effective, just to make sure you got their attention. And so when we do campaigns, what we do is that we will write all of those in advance. So over here on the whiteboard is some campaign work. And we'll do a brainstorming session, get our volunteers together, get our team together, and we'll just brainstorm everything we could say about that campaign. And then we'll begin to format that. Which ones make good pictures? Let's find some pictures. Which ones should be quotes from people? Which ones should be videos that we either make or borrow or share? Which ones could be slides? And then we'll put that campaign together. And anything that can go out through social then can be uploaded into this bulk uploader. So you don't have to do it one at a time. You could do them all. So I would simply do that by writing a message. I could pick a date, what time I want it to go out. The subject is only for email, which we're not doing in this campaign. And then the web address. And then if I have an image, I would click that box right there, and it pulls up my image editor. So I can drop an image in there. Okay. So I can organize this. I can do it all in a day, or get my team together and whiteboard like crazy and get it all written, and we're done. And now we publish it. That makes sense? Sounds like ideal.
It sounds ideal.
Show them where it's scheduled in there, where they can see what they have scheduled
Okay.
and what's already gone out.
So under engage again. So, you know, once you've published all this, you kind of want to know what's coming. So under engage, if you click on the button that says scheduled, it's going to pull up whatever's coming out. And you can check it, you can review it, you can see, you know, what you might want to be ready for in the office. Or you can click on the calendar button, and that allows you to view it on a calendar. It's color-coded based on what's going out. And that's a great way to coordinate for messaging. I think I'm going to end the live stream. We can ask other questions that we may have. So if you have questions on the live stream, just email Dawn, D-A-W-N, @story-collaborative.com.